Welcome to our international podcast, Below the Belt. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Wherever you guys are joining us from today around the world, we want to welcome you to our international podcast. And it's only international because you guys show up from all over the globe in our international podcast. And I see already we have Vashti Magnot from Waterloo, Canada is here with us. We have Beatrice Selby as well. We have Parmanan Siran is here too. Parmanan, good to see you. Donna David is on the podcast. We see Laverne, Harry Chiran, Kelman Passad. Rena Williams is here too. Carla Washington, Aerosol. Good to see each and every one of you. Desmond, we see you as well. Is it Desmond or Osmond? Now the names are going by so fast as folks join the podcast. Osmond Hodge, good to see you, Osmond Hodge, Carla Washington, Siobhan McDonald, Cameron Augustus, Vanessa Thomas, Carl Fraser, Simone Adiola Johnson, good to see you, Simone, Petrol Thorne, Petrol is in the house, Maureen Coppin Williams, Desiree Smart, Felix is here too, Magnell Barrow, come on down, Tessa Isaacs Graves Zandy is with us too. Guys, as you come into the podcast, as you join, as you gather thither and hither, we invite you to share the podcast. We want to see those emojis as well, wherever you guys are joining us from. Guys, we're talking today about the Orin Boston Story. Sherwin Peters and the intellectual authors of Orin Boston's murder. You know, things are heating up back on the ground there at Dartmouth Village on the Essequibo. And we're going to be talking to one of the RDC councillors, Yonit Obamala, and we're going to be talking to the Member of Parliament, Sherwin Holder. Sherwin is from that region number 2, and we're going to be talking to them about what's happening on the ground there. We know there's lots of concern with the way this whole issue, the investigation into the murder of Orin Boston, that businessman there from, as we said, Dartmouth Village on the Essequibo coast. We're going to be talking about this, guys. So stay with us, tag a friend, share the live stream. We want to see those emojis. We want to see what are the emotions out there today on this and other issues. So again, folks, coming on, we're a couple of minutes behind schedule. As we're coming on, guys, share the live stream. We want to see the emojis as well. Fairly decent weather in Georgetown. All things being equal, fairly decent weather in Georgetown. And again, we're picking this up out of weather.com. They're telling us it's 28 degrees outside. That's good weather, folks. 28 degrees outside. That is good weather. As a matter of fact, it's just gone up. 29 degrees outside. And they're telling us it feels like 32. It's 29, but it feels like 32 degrees outside. Guys, 32 degrees outside. It feels like that. And they're telling us it's a 1% chance that it's going to rain this afternoon. Of course, with such low percentage chance of rain, it's not going to rain. We can call it. We're going to call it. You said into the afternoon hours after 1300 hours, after 1 o'clock, it's a 1% chance that it's going to rain. We like those odds. I would leave my umbrella at home unless you're going to be very, very careful. You're going to be very, very, very careful, guys. But again, lots happening internationally, lots happening nationally, folks. Following up what's happening on the COVID front locally, it's out of control, guys. And we've been sharing with you guys some of the video just last weekend on the Marriott beachfront there, downtown Georgetown. Hundreds of patrons, hundreds of vehicles there. It seems the authorities have lost control of the situation. And this is on the heels of last weekend, that a football competition at the National Sports Hall on Homestretch Avenue again. Hundreds, if not thousands of patrons showed up there, out of control. The situation is out of control. We are following up on that. And folks, the sad news yesterday, we talked about this in the ring last evening, the very sad news that we have lost such an icon, a business entrepreneur, mogul and icon in Dr. Yesu Prasad, who passed away yesterday at the age of 94. And again, our thoughts and our prayers go out to the family and friends, loved ones the country who loved him. Dr. Yesu Prasad is one of those figures that really transcended politics and, transcended so much, larger than life figure. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Good to see again so many of you on the live stream. Good to see so many of you who have joined the live stream today. Rowena Williams and Andrea Paradise, Michaela Webster. Good to see you, Tony Hack and Rachel Wolford, Oswego Toppin. Good to see you, Pauline Chalmers. Good to see you, Angeli Abrams, Doretta David. Good to see each and every one of you. Folks, you all recognize with each passing that my accent gets a little deeper. That's who we be. That's who we are. Folks, good to see each and every one of you. We've said, guys, as you come into the live stream, you come into the program, you share the live stream. I know we have one of our guests with us. We do have our RDC counselor out of Region 2, Yonet Obermal. She's already with us. And I know our Member of Parliament, Sherwin, is going to join us soon enough. He is splitting himself among other duties and tasks today. So Sherwin is going to be with us shortly. And I do think we have Sherwin with us. And I can tell you, he's going to be in and out of our discussion because, as I said, being the person who has so many responsibilities, he's splitting himself among meetings and other tasks that's assigned to him. Folks, listeners, and viewers around the world who have joined our international podcast Below the Belt, I am privileged to have with me this afternoon. Ladies first, Yonet Obermother, the Regional Democratic Councillor out of Region Number 2, and this is Pomeroon Supernam. Am I getting it right? I hope so. And I have with me Member of Parliament, the Honourable Sherwin Holder, and Sherwin is also the chairman of the PNCR. Sherwin and Yonet, welcome to the podcast. Fantastic. Let's start about on the note of how things are where you guys are. How are you guys doing personally? Go right ahead, Yonet. Go right ahead, Yonet. Ladies first. Fantastic. Fantastic. And those persons listening to us, the decision that Councillor Yonet Obermuller has referred to there is the decision by the Director of Public Prosecution, Shamar Ali Ha, not to charge Mr. Sherwin Peters with the murder of Orin Boston, but rather to charge him with manslaughter. And a lot of persons, that's not sitting well with them at all. Sherwin. Sherwin, hold on. The folks are telling us their sound is an issue. Hold. Let me see. Hold for us. What's happening here? Guys, can you hear us now? Guys, can you hear us? They said we didn't hear Sherwin. Guys, are you hearing us? They're not hearing us. Sherwin and Yonet, you all hold. Let's hear if let's see if the audience give us an indication. They say they're not hearing Sherwin. Guys, are you hearing us? This is Sherwin's sound is low. Let's try to get as close to the mics as we can. And I think I'm okay at my end. You guys, are you hearing us? They're saying yes. They're hearing only me. You're not trying to get as close as the mic as you can. I'm double checking stuff at my end. All right, guys, let us know if you're hearing Yonet. Let us know if you're hearing Yana. They're saying they're hearing me, but they're not hearing the my guest. Only you. Hold on. Let me see if we get it again. I'm hearing you guys quite clearly. They say they're not hearing Sherwin. Sherwin, try it again. Let's see. Guys, apologies there. We are just double checking stuff at our end. They say they're barely hearing both Sherwin and Yonet. We're gonna try to turn it up. Hold on for us. Hold on for me. Let me make sure we have it right at our end. No, hold on.
Seem to be okay. I'm on my phone.
All right, let's see if we have it now. Let's see if we have it now. Guys, can you hear them? Go ahead, Sherwin and Yonet.
Can you hear me now?
And Yonet, go right ahead too. Yep, this is Sherwin is
Can they
good.
hear me now?
Good. This is Sherwin is fine now. And let's see if Yonet is coming through. Um, and we were basically talking about how things are at your end. Let us take it from there, Yonet. Apologies, guys. Apologies. We're getting some thumbs up. Go right ahead.
Okay, Sherrod. Well, basically, things are not well in the country, so Region 2 will not be any different. For a matter of fact, Region 2 will be worse than the city. But um, the Orin Boston situation in Dartmouth, that decision was made and that uprising started this morning. Sometime the wee hours of this morning, I got the call about 5:20 something this morning, and they already did what they had to do. And however, I stand in solidarity with this family and the village of Dartmouth, because the decision that was made for this murderer to be charged manslaughter, it's not right. It's not justice. You cannot justify murder. Right? So I personally stand as the RDC councillor representing the coalition. I stand with the village of Dartmouth and the family of Orin Boston. I stand with them in solidarity, and according to the family, there is no backing down until they can get some kind of assurance that this decision will be reversed and the individual will be charged for murder. So that is it from me for now.
Thanks very much, Yonet. Sherwin.
Hi, thanks, Sherrod. And you asked me about Region 2.
Yes.
It's the same as they're the same cries here as they are across the length and breadth of the country, especially as it relates to the cost of living. I think that is one of the key things affecting Region 2 and affecting the entire country at this time. But let me get into the Orin Boston matter. Months ago, after the murder, many commentators would have said that they do not believe that justice will be served in this matter. And 4 months later, first off, it took 4 months for any significant movement to take place in this matter. Now we see that the alleged shooter is being charged. And not being charged for murder, but being charged for manslaughter. And so that is the first thing that upsets the family and upsets the community.
Mm-hmm.
I visited the community this morning. I understand that this protest action started around 3:30 this morning. And I visited the community hours back. I spoke with the father and I spoke with the wife and other family members. They are all very much upset The mood in the community is one of, a high temper of, you get a sense that the people are frustrated,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they feel that justice is not being served. One of the things that surprised me is that the father said he was not really contacted by the police force or anybody from the government, even to let them know the status of the case or the fact that this guy was going to be charged. They would have liked to be at the court if that was possible. This is a serious matter. Their son was murdered in cold blood
Yep.
by an arm of the state. And you would believe that they would be in regular contact with the family, and letting them know, updating them as to what exactly is happening with the case. Now, we know it took 4 months for anything to happen. And then when we look at the decorum of the alleged shooter, it doesn't seem to me and to the family and to the general public that this is a prisoner or somebody, a police officer that has committed the murder and is under close arrest. He seemed very relaxed, very comfortable with what was going on. And you get that kind of sense. And so I think that also angered the people. And then we go to that fact that he was on bail for $1 million. Now, in this country called Guyana, one could simply call someone a trench crapo and get $200,000 bail. And here you have a police officer who committed murder in cold blood, and he is placed on $1 million bail. It's very disappointing, and I think those are some of the things that created this uprising again, so to speak, or this protest action that we are now seeing in Dartmouth. Those would be my initial thoughts.
Sherwin and Yonet, we saw some footage of folks holding a banner there, debris lit on a bridge there in Dartmouth. Tell us what's happening in that regard in the physical community.
Well, go ahead, Sherwin.
All right. As I said, I was there on the ground a couple of hours back. The bridge to the southern end, that's on the main road. That is completely blocked by debris. You have angry protesters there. That bridge is completely closed to vehicular traffic. But pedestrians and ordinary commuters on foot are allowed to pass the bridge. As a matter of fact, with my observation, I observed that those persons are actually being assisted by the residents, by the protesters.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no hostility to the ordinary public. There is, however, hostility towards the police force and the fire service. You have on the southern end of the bridge, maybe about 300 meters back, you have a police squad there, and you have a fire truck there. While I was there, an attempt was made to put out the fire by the fire service, and that was met by angry protesters who would have hurled projectiles at the fire truck, and so that pushed back the police and the fire truck a further another 100 meters or so. So there is a standoff between the police and the protesters, but the ordinary commuters are allowed to pass unhindered, without any trouble, any fear. So I think at least from that standpoint, it's a good thing from that standpoint. What they're saying is that they're angry that the alleged shooter has been charged with manslaughter instead of murder. I think that is the minimum that the family expects, and the minimum that the community expects.
Yep. I did hear Nigel you say yesterday, when quizzed about this, that they are looking as Mr. Attorney at Law Nigel Hughes, that is, and as the lead attorney for the Boston's family, they are looking towards having a judicial review of this manslaughter charges and hoping that the High Court can instruct the DPP that this charge should be for murder.
Yeah, definitely. I agree completely with Attorney at Law Nigel. I spoke with his father and he echoed in sentiments. That's exactly what they would like to like happen. Well, in the first instance, they would want the state to move towards um, instituting a manslaughter charge. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if um, how exactly procedurally how exactly you can do that. The state can do that at this stage. But I get a sense from the statement that it can be done. So we'll have to look and see in the next few days what exactly will happen, which direction they will go. But I get a sense that the lawyer, Mr. Hughes, on the family's behalf, will put in the direction. Because I'm not convinced that the state is interested in instituting any murder charge. When you look at the way this case has been handled, when you look at all the facts, we are no no more informed about what was the motive for this murder. Third, I'm getting bad feedback. I don't know if it's from you.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm getting a feedback and a heavy noise coming when I'm speaking. All right, it has eased a bit. So I was saying we are no wiser in terms of the motive of this behind this murder. We don't know who instructed. We don't know who are the other members of the units that went into Boston's home. We don't know why the such an elite squad was used for someone that was not a wanted, had no real record um, in the police force, had no real criminal record in the police force. So we don't know why this Special Tactical Service Unit, this SWAT unit, was used. One would have expected, and when you look at the course of justice, you would have expected that a full investigation would have been done. I don't know if that's done. The public is listening and the family is listening to hear that there would be a review of what exactly transpired there, where the mistakes were made, or you know. So we're not seeing anything like that. You would have expected that maybe two or three persons would have been charged with various charges, more than for the shooter, and then you would have had other persons that are responsible. We want to know where the breaches occurred. So when you look at it holistically, I don't expect the state to move in a direction of this alleged accused, charge this officer with murder. I don't see it happening, and I see the family, the lawyers for the family moving to institute those criminal charges.
Sherwin and Janet, what is shocking to me, as you both articulated, is that we had this incident where this businessman from Dartmouth Village on the Essequibo Coast had a whole SWAT team leave Georgetown, visit his home. He ends up dead. Nothing illegal was found in his home, nor was he found to have been involved in any illegal activity at the time. No reason thus far has been proffered as to why this SWAT team visited his home. No proper reason. And then
That is the
why?
question.
What happened that caused his life to be taken?
Exactly.
Based on what his wife said,
Exactly.
he was shot almost the instant when the SWAT team entered their bedroom on his bed. And so one
Yes.
wonders
Wasn't even
whether
given a chance to stand up. So
Sh-
wasn't even given a chance to stand up, Sarah. So one have to wonder, was it intended?
Yep, Sherwin.
So my assessment of it, Sherrod, this is worse than a bandit or a thief or a bandit taking down your home and killing you. It is worse. It was committed by an arm of the state. It was committed by an arm of the state. So that makes it a whole lot worse. And on top of that, the state has failed the family. They failed to conduct, in my view, a proper investigation, and a proper investigation would speak to timing also. 4 months the family had to wait, nobody informing them of anything, what is going on. The father expressed that he has been calling the minister time and time again. He got no information up until the guy was placed in front of court. They didn't even have the court to call the family to say, we are going to charge this officer with manslaughter and put him place him before the courts on Monday. Nothing whatsoever. In terms of the family, the family
What
had
are you hearing from
expressed
the family?
I understand that they would have expressed, they would have made an appeal rather for some assistance. You know, Boston had 2 children.
Yes.
They were both in the home when he was shot. He has 2 kids and the wife left there to suffer. Now they've reached out to the government. I believe, I'm not certain, but I think we had written this ministry, social protection ministry, and did not get a response from them.
Wow.
One would have expected
Wow.
2 things should have happened. 2 things should have happened, Sharon. They should have gotten social assistance for those children, and they should have also had counseling done for the wife and the children and the extended family. Those children were in the home there. The wife was on the bed lying next to her husband when he was shot and killed, and she is still traumatized. I spoke with her hours back. She is still traumatized. So we see there is an uncaring government. My personal view on this is that we don't know who are the actors behind this murder, and we don't know the motive. And as I had expressed before, this thing came allegedly through some meetings with the business community, and you know the president was on post, and they had some meetings and so. And then you had after maybe a week after, you had this incident with Boston. So people are linking the two together. And, you know, when you have this cloud over this investigation, there's so many gray areas.
And that brings me to the other aspect of the discussion. Well, that will bring me to the other aspect of the discussion. Sure, when you talk about the cloud over the investigation, is whether Sherwin Peters, you know, just went and shoot this man, whatever reason operated in Sherwin Peters' mind at the time, because the police force is telling us and the DPP is telling us Sherwin Peters shot Orin Boston. But are there or is there an intellectual author or authors of what transpired there, Sherwin and Yonette?
I'll give Yonette a chance and then I'll come in.
Yonette, go right ahead.
Sherrod,
are the other
we
forces
don't know, as Sherwin rightly say, we do not know, and you said it also, we do not know what caused this. But there are allegations spinning out there. It was so coincident. It was a coincidence that a week after, days after, the entire cabinet, including the president himself, would have visited the region, this incident occurred. So what could have happened? Who passed the order? Who, you know, all of these things. The questions are out there. Everybody wants to know. I would like to know what happened. Why was this young man targeted? He wasn't wanted by the police. There was no bulletin for him for such an elite squad to come down. Police out of the region came.
Yep. A whole SWAT team.
Squad came down for him alone. Right? It is it. Because if it happened to me, as Sherwin said, the wife is traumatized, I would be traumatized as a woman up to today, right? And Sherrod and Sherwin and the audience, you know, if it was you or I who committed this murder, we would have already been behind bars.
Correct.
Wouldn't have been walking the street free
Correct.
for 4 months. Wouldn't have been running up that court step free. Our hands and feet would have been free. No,
We've
we
been
would have been in
shackled. Yep.
chains.
Yep. Correct, Janet.
Exactly. Uncomfortable going up there. And you know, I look at that video and I was like, what the hell?
Yep.
It took 4 months. And when it took 4 months, this name pop up, Sherwin Peters. And when Sherwin Peters entering court, he's like big boy.
Yep.
It's a big boy entering court. I honestly, like, up to this date, I don't know what is going to come out of this, if they're going to listen, knowing the PPP regime, this government, they don't listen to their people. I wish they do. We know that they wouldn't, just to give this family some justice and also help. That mother is left suffer now, right? Who's going to help her? I mean, people might be out there saying, oh, you guys go and help her, right? But come on, be a government for the people. Be a government for all the people.
Yep. And
You
you
are
know,
there to govern for your people, not a section of people. One section is left out and being treated badly.
Yep.
It is a sad, sad situation, Charlotte. It is very, very sad. I never expected this would have come to my region, but it is here. And we as a people have to fight for the rights of our people.
exactly.
That is my position here.
Exactly. And you know,
I will not against this village and these people. No.
Orin Boston was a businessman there, more than likely the sole breadwinner for his family. So the question has to be asked, really and truly, what becomes of his family now? You could just kill a man like that, and then you just gone on with your life. Sure, when folks, as Janet says, lots of theories are out there, lots of schools of thought as to the intellectual authors behind the killing of businessman Orin Boston there in Dartmouth Village, Essequibo.
Yes, naturally there would be in any matter of this nature. But I must say that the government has not done anything to sort of dispel those theories. Rather, their actions would have resulted in an increase in different theories, for a want of a better word. Their actions, because if they appear to be running a transparent and open investigation and doing things logically, then you wouldn't have all these theories. People would be satisfied. People would have confidence in the investigation, in the investigative process, and people would await the outcome. You would not have had a big protest and a shutdown of the region and the road being blocked today if people had confidence in that process. We hadn't, and I must refer back to the 5 years that the coalition was in office. We didn't see these things happening because you didn't get that level of abuse by the police and abuse by the state. If there were, and I guess there were a few cases, but
Sherwin,
the way how
we had peace.
Yes, exactly. And the way how the APNU AFC administration handled those matters, you would always get rogue police, you would always have police incidences and so on, people would complain. But the way how those matters were dealt with during the APNU AFC administration, I believe largely people were satisfied that the government was doing the right thing and the police force was operating in a much more professional manner. But within months of this administration, we see a total reversal of that. The police force has regressed tremendously, and instead what we see happening is that the state utilizing the police force as a tool of repression. an arm which they can use to target their opponents. That is what we're seeing here. And so people are very cognizant of that fact. And so you would have a rise of all these theories. This happened just after the commander in chief was in the region, met with several business persons, and from all the theories you're hearing, people are establishing linkages. I'm not saying that the commander in chief ordered this activity. I'm by no means saying that, but what I'm saying is that people in the region are linking it, and then you have they're looking at the actions of the government. It is not one that would repose confidence in them that this investigation is, it's going in a fair manner, it's going in an open manner, and that the family would get justice. No, up to now we cannot say who instructed who instructed this operation, why you had to use this special SWAT team. This is not the ordinary police force. This is not the regular, those that we call them the tactical service people. These are persons highly skilled and highly trained in weapons and tactics, trained by the foreigners, went through rigorous courses. And so I would be shocked to hear that if they're trying to say now that this guy's gun went off or whatever, I will question that. But up to that, we don't know. We don't know what is his position, what exactly happened. We don't know, Sharon. And so speculations, coming back to the point, there will always be speculations and negative ones as against the government. Negative ones against the government. And they're the reason for it. Because they have not been conducting themselves in a way that the public expects them to with regards to this investigation.
Wow. We're in a bad spot. We in a bad spot. Folks, we've had several persons who would have lost their lives under questionable circumstances, including Orin Boston. We had Cecil Sampat. In July of last year, we had Sherwin Peters. In January of last year, Peter Headley, very correct, May of last year. And then we had Orin Boston killed on the 15th of September last year. Number of persons, right, killed under very suspicious circumstances. And I think Orin Boston and Peter Headley are two that's really stood out.
Really stood out, yes, exactly.
And we are still waiting.
While I was at the scene in Dartmouth, someone called me to express, their concern on the matter. They had a similar case many years ago under the PP, where her brother was shot by, I believe it was a guard for the then Minister of Home Affairs, Rohi. Clement Rohi's bodyguard would have shot and killed her brother. And similarly, there was no justice. And so she called me to tell me that while I was at Dartmouth. Same thing. She expressed to me that it's the same way that this investigation is going, it's the same path that investigation took under the PPP government, and there was no justice. And so she believes that in the end of all of this, there will be no justice for Boston.
Wow. Sad that we have to be here. I was asking MP Holder about what the family thinks about this matter. And I know that you are at the Regional Democratic Council level, and then you are also very, very much in touch with what's happening on the very ground there, being involved in one of the, or living in the area generally. What are you hearing from people who live in this area? What are they telling you as a councillor?
Well, Sherrod, like we discussed, there are many theories out there. So you have a lot of people, with a different view of the situation. But at the end of it, the view is of one, right? And it's not only coming from the people in the village of Dartmouth, it's also coming from other villages, even the Indian-dominated village. They is of the same opinion that we are. at present, right?
Mm-hmm.
These theories that are flying out there, not only from the Black community, it's also from the Indian community.
Mm-hmm.
And like one guy said to me this morning, an Indian guy, he said to me this morning, he said that was cold-blooded murder. However, the ties at the top, it's too high to happen at the bottom. I mean, he was talking in code, but I understand what he was saying. Mind you, guy, right? And then he was giving me a what must I say? He was telling me about his brother-in-law, who is an inspector in the police force. He said his brother-in-law related his uncomfortableness under this government, but he said he has to close his mouth and let it go, just to save himself and his job.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because at the end of the day, people
So
gotta eat. Really and truly comes down to economics. Sadly, so people just
yep,
people don't wanna rock the boat. People just go along. But the rest of us, we got some big mouths. That's why we always in problems. That being said, though,
yeah. I
that
know,
being
I
said,
know.
serious times ahead, serious times ahead. And we're gonna keep our hands on the pulse of what is happening in Dartmouth village there. Sherwin and Yonet, any additional reports as to what obtains at this hour in terms of the road situation being blocked there, and the police and whoever else being held at bay by residents there of Dartmouth village on the
Well,
Escribble coast.
Sherrod, I don't think the police can go too close because based on my information, like Sherwin did say, the fire chief, the person in charge of the fire service down there would have tried to approach, but they're not allowing. But the traffic, I mean, the vehicle, that is stopped. The vehicles cannot pass from both ends, but they're allowing pedestrians to pass. And they're even assisted because the same thing that happened the last time, the same thing is happening now. They're not harassing anybody. They're not tormenting anybody. They're keeping the peace in that manner.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
nobody can say they've been assaulted or anything by the dark materials them.
It's
So
it's a
that is where they
statement
are
that
at
is
the
being made
moment.
because people want justice. And Jonathan
Yes.
and Sherwin, I think people are weary and tired of hearing we will leave no stone unturned. Jesus. That's the
Yeah,
refrain of the administration. We leave no stone unturned. The Henry boys' parents tired hearing that too. Their family and friends.
Oh, it is a sad
exactly,
situation in
exactly,
Guyana.
and that is why the people have taken to the road because they know what obtains under the PPP government. As you mentioned, there are a number of unsolved cases, and we always hear we will leave no stones unturned. That coming from no person, no other than the commander in chief himself. But I want to say this to you: the commander in chief never spoke with the family, never spoke with the family to offer condolences, to offer his sympathy, or to reassure them that they will get justice. It didn't happen. And so that is why persons are out. They see the direction, they recognize that there is, in their belief, that there is an effort to cover up this investigation, prolong it uh, 4 months plus, and then you come out with a charge with something lesser than what the people expect. We see in very simple matters, the police are quick to charge and quick to put the most severe of
Mm-hmm.
charges
Mm-hmm.
on those persons. But when they have an interest, when the government especially has a stake or an interest in the matter or something to protect, then you get this kind of injustice happening. They would stretch it out. You hardly know anything of what is going on. They're tight-lipped about everything, and that is how it goes. And that is a slow death, slow and painful death. So that is why, in a nutshell, the persons are out here. They want justice. They want to see a murder charge instituted. They want a fair trial, and at the end of it, at minimum, justice must be served. That is what they're asking for. The family should be compensated. The family should be assisted. They should have, as I mentioned before, they should have what they call counseling for the wife, for the kids, and other family members that are affected. At minimum, any good government, any caring government, that is what you expect from them.
Fantastic. And that is what is needed. The people need justice. Justice. Right? And not people protecting their friends and their colleagues and all of this madness. The people need and deserve justice. And this nonsense.
I know we're wrapping up, Sherwin.
Great ahead.
But let me give you my view on this thing. I believe that they delayed this 4 months to see what direction it would take. They delayed it also to allow everything to boil down, tempers to die away, feelings with time. Nothing heals death, but over a course of time, at least the pain is reduced. I'm not certain how reduced it is with the family and the people of Dartmouth, but at least with time, they would have hoped that things would have, the whole temperature would have come down. And then again, they had time to strategize how to deal with this matter, how to deal with it, what charges to put, what this guy should go forward on. And so that, to my mind, that is why if they had moved to charge this guy and place him before the court very quickly, then one would not know what he would say, what might be revealed. And so others might very well be implicated, others at the higher level. And we don't know where it would go. Based on the theories, you have a theory of the government being involved in some way or the other. So I think that is why they dragged it out, stretched it out as far as possible. And now they're moving with a manslaughter case, which could be dragged for the next 2-3 years in court. And at the end of it, nothing happens. No, there's no justice.
Well, this fella, Sherwin Peters, better start talking. Or those in that SWAT team, who knows, in the interest of justice and humanity and closure for this family, they better start talking.
Well, that is it. It is my understanding too, Sherrod, that and this is coming from the family. Sure, this guy, the alleged accused, he would have been free to roam about. He wasn't really on close arrest as the government and the police force would have want us to believe. He was seen at a wedding in Linden, allegedly. And when he recognized that there were some persons from the community of Dartmouth there at that wedding, he quickly left. But he was allowed to roam about and go about his daily life as though nothing happened. Not as if you executed a young businessman, unarmed businessman, lying in bed with his wife and kids.
Yep, and this family here is going through turmoil and pain, fractured irreparably with the death of their father and husband, their brother and cousin, Mr. Orin Boston. Final thoughts, guys, as we wrap up. Unit.
Well, Sherrod, all this family is looking for in the villages, because let me make it clear. This is a tightly knitted village, right? So the family is also big in the village. So all they want is do the right thing, as you would do to a common man if in the same situation. Let the same justice prevail over this officer, right? And as do be a government for the people. Assist this family. Assist them. Have a heart for once. Mind you, this is a mother. And if they're looking at the texture of the hair. Her hair is straight also, right? If they're looking at that, um, I am pleading that this family need assistance, and I am pleading that justice must prevail, as Sherwin rightfully say. All the people want is justice. That's all they want, justice. So I'm appealing for justice to be solved. Sherrod, you're doing a wonderful job, I must say, and keep up the good work. And I know they're trying to muzzle you, but don't back down. Keep the fire.
Thanks very much for your kind thoughts,
So that's it for me.
Yonet. Thanks very much for your thoughts, Yonet. Sherwin.
Yeah, thanks, Sherrod. I would like to echo some of the same sentiments. I'd like to see the government make a 180-degree turn on this matter. Do the necessary, do all that is necessary. As they said, no stone unturned. Begin to turn those stones, because we haven't seen any stones, real stones being turned. Let us know the motive. Let us know who are the players. Let us hear about a review of the process where it breaks down. Let us reach out to the family and give them the necessary assistance that is needed, that is required at this time, and allow justice to take its natural course. Allow justice to take its natural course in this matter. Finally, what I would say, as the regional parliamentarian responsible for this region, I have been following this matter closely, and I will continue to follow it closely. I will continue to be in touch with the family, and in the coming days, I will make contact with the necessary government agencies, Home Affairs and Social Services, to force their hands on this matter, so that the family can begin to receive the kind of attention and the kind of assistance that they ought to have at this time.
Very well. Both Yonet Obermuller, the one of the regional Democratic councillors there, Region 2, and MP, Member of Parliament Sherwin Holder. Sherwin is also the chairperson of the PNCR. Thanks so much, guys, for being part of the program and bringing so much insight on this very, very issue. Very, very sensitive one. The people there need justice. The community needs justice. The family of Orin Boston needs justice. And we ought to pursue the truth wherever it leads. Wherever it leads. Guys, thanks again.
Thanks, Sarah. Have a great day.
Awesome. Folks, that's our program. Listen, this match is far from over, as both Sherwin and Yonet says. It's far from over. And it is Attorney at Law Nigel Hughes who always says, don't worry with the charges. Don't worry about confession. When you get a conviction, you know justice is done. When you get a conviction, I mean, we've been tipping our hat every step of the way. We heard that Sherwin Peters had been identified as the shooter, the person who shot and killed Orin Boston, murdered Orin Boston, and we saw he was charged. Charges were recommended by the Director of Public Prosecution. He was put on bail, $1 million bail. You know, but now we're watching to see what comes next, because we've seen all too often in this country what happens. All too often in this country what happens with matters like this. And we're going to be keeping you guys posted. Guys, we at this end here, we need your help. We need your help, and sometimes we take a lot for granted, but for our programs to continue, you guys see what they're trying with us too in the courts, right? With these trumped up charges about cyber crimes nonsense. But we need your help to meet our monthly obligations here. We want to thank those who contribute, but we need your help. So many of you can help us. And so we're asking for your help. We're asking for your help to meet our financial obligations for this podcast, for In the Ring, and all the other things that we do here for this month of January. We have several platforms available, guys. We got the Cash App platform. Our Cash App handle there is In the Ring 592. In the Ring 592. Come on board and partner with us. Help us to meet our obligations. Now we even got to put aside legal fees. We got to put aside legal fees now. Come on board. The Cash App handle is the dollar sign or the dollar symbol. In the Ring 592. At PayPal, guys, at PayPal. Our PayPal email address is inthering592@gmail.com. Our PayPal email address is inthering592 at PayPal at gmail.com. Inthering592@gmail.com. And then we're available via the MMG, the GT&T system, the GT&T Cash App. Our number there is 627-6963, 627-6963. And guys, we're available via MoneyGram and Western Union as well. No amount is too small or too great. We need your help. We ain't going to them catfish, trench crappo, jagabats, and ask for nothing. That's why we come to you. You guys have kept us out here. And so we're encouraging you guys to come on board and partner with us. Find a way, guys, and help us to meet our obligations this month. They are plentiful. Let me just tell you that. They're plentiful. Come on board. Find a way to help us meet our obligations. You know, y'all got us out front here. And we do this for the sheer love of keeping you guys informed of all the things that are happening at our end. Thanks for joining us for this podcast. It has been our privilege having you, Lester Beckles and Jamal Aziz, Chisung Henry, Andrew Cuthbert, Hula Lafferman Rubens. Good to see you, Hula Lafferman Rubens. Osman Hodge, good to see you as well. Margaret Morris, Tanya Cummins, Wendy Farley, good to see you, Wendy. Great to see you. Diana Mitchell Henry, Gordon Smith, great to see you, Gordon. Richard Fordyce and Sharon Grant. You know, there's so many of you who would have partnered with us in the past on a one-off basis, and we invite you guys to come back and partner with us. Y'all see, we still out here. We are now, this is our 42nd podcast. Our 42nd podcast. We're here every day. Every day, we're committed to being here, getting the information to you. In the Ring, we're there every day during the course of the week. And our website, Credible Sources, you can look forward to having more information there. More information is going to be uploaded to our website, Credible Sources. All of this is geared to keeping you guys informed, and all of it is powered by you, guys. It is powered by your contributions. And so we got a lot of expenses this month to take care of. And so we're asking you guys, find a way to come on board and partner with us. Good to see each and every one of you. Simone Kelman, Washington, Nalda Grant, Donald David, Hulda Thomas, Margaret Morris, Jacqueline Ward. Good to see you, Jacqueline. You know, you don't hear names like these anymore. You know, people don't name the kids Jacqueline anymore. I was surprised to see that little baby we featured last night in the ring, named Donna. People don't name their kids Donna anymore. People go for all of these very, very modern names. But I love that name, Jacqueline. Romy Leander. Good to see you, Romy. Andrew Cuthbert and Erica English. You know, as I saw that name, Leander, let me give a shout out to my legal team from Hughes, Fields, and Stobies. Those guys are doing a fantastic job. My legal team from Hughes, Fields, and Stobie, they are doing a fantastic job. And they include the man himself, Nigel Hughes. Kemraj Ramchatan is on that team as well. And then we have, the team is being led by some young women, fantastic, bright young women. Narissa Leander and Ayana Butts are two of the female attorneys on my case, and I'm tremendously grateful for each and every one of them. Some fantastic, young, fired up attorneys, guys. And, you know, we got to meet our obligation, and so we invite you guys to come on board and to partner with us. Andrew Cuthbert, we see you there. Beatrice Selby, enjoy lunch. Guys, I'm having some fried rice at my end, some fried rice from Cambo on Sheriff Street. But I know those of you in the diaspora, I just tickle your fancy there. Some delicious fried rice, chicken fried rice from Cambo on Sheriff Street there, and I discovered recently a fantastic you all know the LLB, that little refreshing drink out of Trinidad, the lemon lime bitters. I discovered they have now different flavors. I think I picked up the strawberry flavor of the LLB, the lemon lime bitters, that refreshing beverage that is sold, I think, out of Trinidad. They didn't pay me no money for these advertising. Nonetheless, just giving you guys a check of what I'm having for lunch at my end. Good to see you guys. Enjoy lunch wherever you are. It's been our privilege being here. We're going to see you guys right back here tomorrow for another edition of our international podcast, Below the Belt. Who facts lose? See you guys tonight in the ring. 8:30 sharp. You best buy your tickets early. See you guys this evening. Stay safe. Stay safe, guys. Come on board and partner with us. Partner with us. Partner with us.